This episode of Making a Chef is brought to you by Broadcast Media Group is a full-service production company with a team of storytellers who create commercials, promos, web-based videos, and more. For more information about Broadcast Media Group, go to www.getbmg.com or call 662-324-2489. Video Magic 1 transfers home videos, tapes, and photos into DVD, CD, or digital files. For more information, go to www.videomagic1.com or call 662-320-9344.
As a kid chef, I've always wanted to know how certain things are made, and one of those things is cheese. Luckily, Mississippi State has an amazing dairy department. They make world-famous Edam cheese, cheddar cheese, and many other dairy products, including ice cream, which is amazing. Today, we're lucky enough to be able to go behind the scenes and learn how their cheese is made. We're on the campus of Mississippi State University, home to football, cowbells, and cheese. Today, I'm gonna take a tour of Maphis's Dairy Factory, where I get to see how the world-famous Edam cheese is made. Hey, Mr. J, nice to finally meet you.
How you doing, Mark?
Pretty good. You know, I'm such a big fan of MSU's, their dairy products, and their cheese. Can't wait to see how it's made today.
Well, we're gonna get right to that. I got a couple cheeses I want us to try first, give you a little bit of idea of what everything tastes like before you see how it's made.
Can't wait to try it.
Let's go try it. Okay, Mark, before we go back, I got a couple different cheeses here I want us to try.
Okay.
I have a Edam, a Valaigrette, and a cheddar.
Okay, so Edam, Valaigrette, cheddar.
There you go.
Correct, all right.
I'll tell you what, let's start with the Valaigrette.
Okay, the middle one?
Yeah, the middle one.
So off the bat, there's a color difference. Is that because of the process or what?
It's a different process. There's no color added.
Okay.
All cheese would be white if the
okay.
color wasn't added.
Well, I want to try this.
Yeah, try that. Now you notice the sweet flavor?
Very sweet.
Very, very smooth texture.
Smooth, yeah.
Nutty flavor. It's considered a baby Swiss.
Okay.
And we make about 12,000 of these a year.
That's a lot.
And it's a lot. And if we could make 100,000 of them, we would sell every one of them. But it's a very tedious process. It's very labor intensive.
Yeah, I bet.
So let's move on to the cheddar here.
The cheddar? Okay.
Cheddar.
So, looks like cheddar.
Looks like cheddar.
Tastes like cheddar.
Tastes like cheddar. Notice how sharp it is.
Yeah, it's very sharp.
The cheddar process, you know, we flip it, it's salted by hand, and then it's aged for at least 6 months.
Wow. That gives it the sharpness. That gives it the flavor right there.
Correct. Let's move to the iconic Edam.
Edam cheese, okay. It's definitely sharp, but it's a little smooth too.
It's not quite as sharp as cheddar. A little bit younger cheese, a little different process in making. We make 50,000 balls of these a year.
It's a lot.
Back in 1938, Dr. Herzer wanted to come up with an iconic cheese to draw attention to Mississippi State University. He came up with the 3-pound Edam ball.
So this.
That.
So this is the iconic cheese.
That's
of
the
Mississippi State.
iconic cheese. When everybody thinks of Mississippi State, they think of football and Mississippi State cheese.
Edam cheese. Wow.
There you go.
So this is all delicious, but I want to see how it's made.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. Let's go do it.
Let's go.
All right, Mark, let's get suited up.
Let's do it.
We're gonna make some magic happen. You take the red hairnet, I'll take the white.
Definitely gonna need one of these. Ready to go?
Maybe one day, but not today.
Maybe next year.
Let's go. So Mark, we tried the cheese. We're in the plant.
That's where the magic happens.
That's where it all happens, right here. Our milk room guy, whether it be a 2-vat or 3-vat day, he'll either get here at 2:30 in the morning or 4:30 in the morning.
Nice and early.
Nice and early. And he'll start the milk into the vat.
Okay.
And actually the cheese makers will take over from there, and we'll add our starter culture, and we'll begin the cheese process.
Sounds good. So, to make cheese, we need milk. So how do y'all go about getting the milk from y'all's dairy farms to here?
Well, we actually have a 2,000-gallon tank truck. We're currently getting about 9,000 pounds to 10,000 pounds a day. So we get a load every day from the tank. It goes to our separator, depending on whether we are making cheese, fluid milk. And from there, it goes into what we call our balance tank. It goes from there into our HTST, which actually pasteurizes our milk. And it has to stay 165 degrees for at least 15 seconds. From there, it's pumped either into one of our 2 cheese vats here, or we divert it and it goes into our pasteurized tank for fluid milk.
Okay, so drinking stuff.
The smaller scale, but it's exact equipment that you'll see in any dairy plant in the United States.
Sounds like y'all are serious about y'all's milk here.
Oh, we're very serious about it.
Y'all also have other products, so can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, we have, well, of course, we've already talked about the fluid milk. We also have ice cream. Muscadine Ripple is one of our biggest sellers. I mean, the muscadines are grown right here in the state of Mississippi. We have 11 different flavors. We also have butter. We also churn butter. I like to say we do it the old-fashioned way. You know, ice cream, butter, milk, cheese. Cheese is number one, though.
Cheese is number one.
We're a cheese business. So, Mark, that's enough about milk. You want to go make some cheese?
I'd love to go make some cheese.
Let's go make some cheese. Okay, so Mark, this is where it begins.
Okay.
Right here we have 1,000 gallons of pasteurized milk. It's a lot of milk, isn't it?
That's a lot of milk.
We're fixing to get ready to add what we call our starter culture, which actually gives your cheese its actual flavor.
Okay.
It'll sit here for an hour. We'll come back. We'll add our color. And, you know, all cheese would be white if we didn't add color into it. So we're going to add our color and our rennet, which coagulates.
That forms the meat part of the milk, I guess you could say.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right. It'll sit for 30 minutes. We'll check and make sure that it's set up just right. We'll cut it. We'll put the agitators back in.
Shake it up.
Start stirring it up, and then we'll begin the cooking process. Okay, Mark, what he's doing now, he's adding our starter culture, which is actually kept in minus 80 degree freezer.
And cold.
Nice and cold. It looks like Dippin' Dots ice cream, doesn't it? But that's actually is what's gonna give your cheese the flavor.
It's a starter, so it's alive, am I correct?
That's right. That's live bacteria we're adding to it. And this milk is right now, it's setting at 90 degrees. After we add the rennet and cut it, we'll heat this up to 102 degrees. Anything over 104, 105 degrees, you'll wind up losing your cheese. It won't make cheese. You'll kill your starter.
Okay. So what flavor does the starter add?
It depends on what kind of cheese you're making.
Okay.
If you want a real sharp cheddar, there's a starter, there's a culture for that.
Okay. So it's not a one-size-fits-all?
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's not.
So for people at home who want to make cheddar cheese, would they be getting frozen starter like this, or how would they go about getting that? Do you know?
What they would have to do is make what we call a buttermilk starter.
Okay, yeah. When did this department start making cheese?
Cheese was introduced to Mississippi State back in 1938.
Wow. Do you have any clue how different the process was back then in 1938?
The only thing that has changed since 1938 is our starter culture.
The starter. So it's been the same ever since?
It's been the same ever since. And the amount that we do. Of course, we do a whole lot more now. Bigger vats. Everything is grown. But other than that, it's the same process.
Wow.
Okay, Mark, so what he's doing now, he's fixing to add the color to our cheese, which makes it, you know, yellow.
Yeah, because it'd be white otherwise.
It'd be white, that's right.
Food coloring has no other purpose than just the color.
Just
no flavor.
Color. No flavor and nothing. It's just strictly for color purposes.
So he's adding in the rennet?
He's adding the rennet, that's right. Which is going to coagulate your milk, form your curd.
You said the agitator is going to go once down and once back?
Once down, once back, and then they'll stop it right here and take them out. And we're going to let it sit up.
So you don't want to break that up yet?
That's right.
So how long will we let this set?
30 minutes.
30 minutes.
Give or take. We'll check it and make sure that it's ready. Your milk is going to set up just like Jell-O.
Okay.
Right now. We've added our color and our rennet. It's been sitting here for 30 minutes. We're going to do what we call the finger test.
Okay.
Take your finger.
Finger.
Stick it in the cheese. Bring it up slowly. See how it starts pulling away from your finger?
Yeah.
It's set up. It's ready to go. So now we are ready to cut the cheese.
Okay.
Okay, what you're gonna do? Take this hand, put right here. But take this hand, put right here, up under.
Okay.
Okay, just stay with Ricky. Keep your knife up against this. You see how the wires, you got vertical wires on this side, horizontal on that side? When you get to the end of the vat, you're gonna swap knives. So Mark, you can start to see your curds are separating from your weight.
Can I feel these and like?
Sure.
Wow, so they're just individual.
Kind of feels like a half-boiled egg. Right?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Should take about 30 minutes to heat up from 90, it's 90 degrees right now, to 102 degrees. And after it reaches that temperature, it'll cook for an hour.
So what happens if you go above that temperature?
You will kill your starter.
Kill the starter.
Your cheese will not be cheese.
Yeah.
And what he's doing right now, he's getting everything off the bottom of the vat because the vat heats from the bottom
Yeah, it doesn't want
up.
to burn it.
Okay, Mark, so we have added our starter culture, we've added our color, our rennet, we've cooked our cheese. Now we're draining it.
Now, okay.
We're draining the whey off.
Okay.
So we're going through the matting process. They'll get it all piled up here and get it all evened out nice and neat. Let the whey drain for about 15 minutes. And then if the adze is there, we'll go ahead and start the hook process.
So then cutting correct into little cubes and then y'all press them? Okay.
That's right. They'll cut them into 3-pound blocks, and then we'll put it in the hooks, go in the press, and then it'll press for an hour.
Okay.
To get the rest of the whey out.
Yeah.
Mark, go ahead and cut this cheese.
Okay. So what are we doing here?
We're cutting it up into 3-pound blocks, which is gonna wind up in our hooks. We're gonna put them in hooks.
Okay.
After this process.
And so that forms the cheese?
That forms the cheese into the ball. Correct. This is good strength training for football.
Yeah. That's kind of what I was thinking.
If you want Dustin to finish this up,
Yeah. Wow.
pretty quick, huh?
Pretty quick.
He got a few years experience on you though.
I can tell.
Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna let this sit for about 10, 15 minutes. The whey is steadily draining out.
Yeah.
We're gonna pull a cube out of the middle of the cheese right there, take a sample of whey, and check the acid on it. If the acid's right, we're gonna put it in the hook.
Sounds good.
Okay, Mark, so now we're doing our hooping process. They're taking 3.5 pounds of cheese, putting it in a hook. They'll put a lid on that hook, we'll compress it.
When you compress it, you lose, you say about ½ pound or so?
Right.
What is that, whey?
That's whey.
Whey.
He's done it once or
Yeah,
twice.
once or twice. How long will it take them to finish this whole thing?
About 20 minutes.
About 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Big operation.
You want to get your hands dirty and hook a little bit?
I can try.
All right.
So we just put everything up in here in one of them?
Everything. That's right.
And so then you grab a block and what, 3.5 pounds?
You have to pull some off of it. Whatever you pull off, just put back in the vat.
Sorry, guys.
This is why cutting it is so tedious.
Yeah.
You want it as close as possible. And that just takes time. There you go. Now that summer's here, you want a summer job at the cheese plant?
That would
start
be fun.
making cheese?
That'd be fun. I don't know if I can keep up with y'all. Y'all are fast here.
You'd be fine. Give it a week or so, you'd be just as fast.
So every one of these, y'all do this by hand. Y'all don't have a machine to cut them.
No machine. It's all done by hand.
Handmade.
Handmade.
And you said you go through 50,000 of them a year?
50,000 of them.
Wow.
So Mark, why don't you give it a try?
I'll try. Right-handed. Ball on my left.
There you go.
Like that. I'm definitely not professional.
It's harder than it looks.
It's a lot harder than it
It's
looks.
nothing to it, Mark. It's nothing to it.
This one's handmade.
There you go. Just turn it.
Okay, I'm gouging this one.
That's actually pretty good for the first time. Why we do this is the mold, as you can see, it leaves a little rim.
Yeah.
Once we dip that wax doesn't cover that rim. Really.
Doesn't cover the rim.
Right. This cheese will sit in these salt brines for 48 hours.
48 hours.
Then they'll come out and we'll put them on drying racks and let them dry. And we'll actually wax them the next day after. So
Okay.
this cheese that you're doing right now, 3 days from now will be waxed. If you were to taste that cheese right now, has no flavor whatsoever.
No flavor.
No flavor.
So that comes from the aging.
Right. Getting pretty good at it.
If you call that good. Today, I'm back in the kitchen with registered dietitian, Dr. Brent Fountain, and he's gonna show me how he does a quick and easy spin on a salsa mac. Dr. Brent, thanks for being here today.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks for having me.
You know, I do like Colby Jack, I do like mac and cheese. I'm really ready to try this recipe.
So let's start here. We've got a cup of uncooked elbow macaroni. You can just go ahead and place that in there. We've got our water pre-boiling, and that's gonna take about 7 to 8 minutes to cook. You kinda want that al dente, so we'll get started with that. Now, the next thing I want you to do is go ahead and start dicing the onion. So
Dicing the onion.
we're gonna do the whole onion. The other vegetables we've got here, we'll do the bell pepper, we'll do the tomato. This is gonna go into the oven for about 25 or 30 minutes when the time comes, and it's gonna be a little baked macaroni and cheese instead of just the typical macaroni and cheese that we often enjoy. But it's the good take on it. The milk, of course, is gonna add protein, so we'll have that along with the cheese. And we've got shredded Colby Jack, so
Yeah.
a little bit different than your traditional cheese. You got the Colby and the Monterey Jack, which is gonna add a lot of flavor to the overall dish.
You know, what I like about mac and cheese is how versatile it can be. You know, you can add different cheeses. In this recipe, you can add different vegetables. Like you can add jalapenos to spice it up, make it a little more like a traditional salsa. You can leave out the vegetables if you want to just have regular mac and cheese. You don't have to bake it, that's one of the things I really do enjoy about mac and cheese, and in my opinion, it's one of the better tasting comfort foods out there.
Oh yeah, and you know it goes great with anything. So
does
you
go
can have
great.
it as a side, you can have it as a as a part of your entree. A lot of things that you can do with it, and you know it's pretty much every age likes mac and cheese. When you get ready, we'll preheat the skillet, and we'll add this butter first and let it kind of melt. So we're going to saute, which basically saute is just cooking in a small amount of fat, obviously. So our butter's going to be the fat, and we're going to do these onions until they become translucent. So they'll get clear and get a good small dice on it, because when it bakes in there, it'll be really good like that. The smaller the better on this dice.
Onions just about done. You may go ahead and add the butter.
Yeah, let's go ahead and add the butter.
Okay.
Let it start melting, and then you can add the onions there. Now, how do you know when your macaroni is ready?
Well, what I like to do is I usually give it 7 to 8 minutes, but I'll just take a wooden spoon, get in there, pick one up, squeeze it a little bit, shove a little bit of spring, just eat it, because, you know, that's the best way you can tell you're cooking it after all. And if it needs more time, then I leave it in there for usually another minute or so.
Yeah.
If it's done, I pull it out, and if it's overcooked, the dogs have a meal, I guess. You know, we got an old dog who he needs to eat all he can, so.
So that's good for him.
Yeah, that's
He
good for
likes
him.
it when you overcook the macaroni. Well, and this one, you know, because we are baking it, you can have it just slightly undercooked.
Yeah. Butter's just about melted, so I add in the onions.
And once they start to sizzle and a little bit translucent, then we'll add the flour, the milk, and the pepper.
So if you want to lighten up the recipe a little bit, could people use stuff like coconut oil or different kinds of fat?
They could, they certainly could. Now, of course, this recipe calls for 1 tablespoon of butter. So you could choose a different type of fat, just as long as you're cooking in a small amount of fat. You could even use cooking oil or something like that if you chose to, and it'll work the same, but we're not using a whole lot of butter. Now, if you wanted to take down the fat even more, you could use skim milk, or you could use low-fat cheese. Let's go over a little bit of the other ingredients that we've got here. We've got 1 1/4 cups of milk that we're gonna add. This is 8 ounces, like I said, of Colby Jack cheese. We've got a medium tomato. We're gonna use half of this bell pepper, but you could certainly use more if you wanted to. We've got a tablespoon of flour here, and that's just regular all-purpose flour. And then pepper, and this is to taste. Of course, we used a tablespoon of butter, 1 whole onion, and then we had 1 cup of uncooked macaroni that we've added. So as those continue to go, if you'd like, you can go ahead and start dicing up the tomato. Do you do a certain way of picking your tomatoes?
If it's in the summer months, I usually try to get a fresh and local tomato.
Right.
There's plenty of awesome farms around here, and even my mom, she has a garden. But if not, something that has a nice firm flesh.
Right, you don't want it to be mushy.
Yeah, you don't want it to be mushy. You don't want it to be green unless you're doing fried green tomatoes, which there is a time and place for that.
Sure. So we can go ahead now and we can add the flour, Mark.
Okay.
Kind of stir that around and go ahead and add your pepper, just as much as you like.
I'm gonna go crazy right now. I'll add a little more later.
There you go. Let those just kind of absorb that flour.
My bell pepper cutting skills, they're nothing to brag about at all.
You're gonna add the bell pepper and the tomato into the macaroni.
Okay.
Now just kind of soften them up a little bit.
Yeah.
Once you've got that done, we can go ahead and add the milk to the onions. And what you want that to do is going to thicken up a little bit. And then we'll add our cheese as one of the last steps. So when you're ready, we can go ahead and add the cheese.
Okay.
And once it kind of gets melted, we're just going to add the macaroni and the vegetables, allow them to blend. We're going to be good to go.
So I should go ahead and add it?
Go ahead and add that in. And all you really want to do is just coat it. There you go.
Nice. I really do like those colors right there. That looks quite delicious.
It doesn't look like your typical macaroni and cheese, does it?
No, but it smells amazing.
It does smell good, doesn't it?
So we're gonna leave that in for about 25 to 30 minutes until it's crisp on top and bubbly on the sides.
Can't wait to see it.
Can't wait to see it.
Salsa mac with Colby Jack.
Looks delicious. I can't wait to try some.
Here, try some.
I love the colors. It's got a little crispy on top.
But it's still creamy and moist in there at the bottom of it.
Nice and steamy, like a look for when I buy a macaroni. Yeah, it's hot.
It's very hot.
Oh, it's hot.
I think actually the recipe says wait 10 minutes, doesn't it?
My impressions? Oh.
It's hot.
Oh.
It's
Oh. Oh.
My hand was burning.
All right, you wanna try some?
Sure, let's try some.
I got a little bigger bite. This is delicious.
Yeah. It's hot. You probably want to take about 10 minutes.
I'm sorry. That's hot. Oh my. That's hot.
It is very hot.
Okay, Mark, this is one of the final processes of our cheese.
Okay.
We're waxing and bagging here to form an airtight seal around that cheese. We dip this cheese in this wax at 165 degrees.
Okay.
We'll dip it 3 times, then we have to take it off, and where it sits on these racks, you're gonna have a naked spot right here.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be so we actually have to do that by hand.
Okay.
Smear it on there. So let's get the rack loaded up and we'll wax some cheese.
Sounds good.
Okay, so Mark, this is the end of the road.
That's a shame.
This is our warehouse, our cooler where we store our Edam.
I can feel it.
Yeah, it's stored at 40 degrees
Yeah.
and it's aged for at least 3 months.
So when we were trimming the cheese, I tasted some of it and it had no flavor. So this is what gives it the flavor?
This is it. We'll ship out 90% of our cheese between Thanksgiving and December. Hopefully make a lot of happy customers this Christmas.
Hopefully so.
This cheese, it has been shipped all over the world. I mean, it's
The world?
been the world. I mean, it's been to Iraq, Afghanistan. It's even been to the White House.
Ha! That's impressive.
Yeah. So we're pretty proud of it. It's very iconic for Mississippi State University. It's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, let's go back down to the shop. I got a little surprise for you.
Let's go. Mr. J, thanks for everything today. From sampling the cheese to seeing how it's made, I learned a whole lot and had a ton of fun.
No problem, Mark. It was great having you. You did a great job. And for all your hard work, I'm gonna give you this Edam ball. You take it back to your kitchen and make something great with it.
Thank you. I'm gonna make a lot of good things with this.
Thank you.
Thank you.